Ariel Helwani post-fight at UFC 128 alongside UFC President Dana White. And Dana, so much to discuss. Jon Jones is the new light heavyweight champion, but I want to know which member of your brilliant PR team thought of, okay, let's have Jones take down a mugger this morning, then win the title, and then we'll have him on Good Morning America on Monday. Who thought of this?
It's crazy. Yeah. Well, actually, when that thing came out, it was on the media everywhere. I mean, before the pay-per-view even went off. In all my years of being involved in the fight business, I've never heard anything like that in my life.
First thing you must have thought of, is he hurt, right? I mean, that's a nightmare situation for you, right?
First thing I thought is, there's no way this is true. And then I called him, and he walked me through the story, and then I was like, holy shit. Yeah, wow. You know, what did that run do to him, chasing that guy down and all this other stuff? But I told him his new nickname is Kick-Ass.
The interesting thing is, and you said this in the scrum after the press conference, that you thought that whole, experience might detract what he would do in the fight, that it was, too much going on right now for him today. Yeah. Why did you think that?
I thought that there were a lot of experiences that were going to affect him in the fight. You know, obviously being such a young guy and going in against a guy like Shogun, not to mention the fact that he has taken on a huge load PR this week. Everybody was all over this kid. This kid was in the Wall Street Journal. He was in the New York Times. He was here. He was there. He was all over the place. This morning at 11 o'clock. Now, granted, remember, we're on the East Coast, okay? At 11 o'clock, this kid's calling me about credentials, right? That hasn't happened to me before either. Calling me about credentials. I'm like, 11 o'clock, man, you don't fight till midnight tonight. You should be sleeping right now. Then I hear the story about how he runs out and, stops this guy that just robbed these people, waits for the police to come. I'm like, man, that's a pretty big day for a guy. Then he comes in here and dominates Shogun. You know, the only thing left to do is to deliver a baby on the way home tonight.
How do you categorize the win? Was this Jones just looking amazing once again, or was this Hua just not looking that good coming off of the surgery?
Listen, I don't know. He looked incredible tonight. You know, was that not, a Shogun who's 100%? I can't answer that question. I don't know. But he looked pretty damn good against Bader, too. I guarantee you Bader was 100%. He looked damn good against Hamill. I guarantee you Hamill was 100%. And the list goes on and on.
Did you think it would all unfold that easily for Jones?
No. I thought that fight was going to be a war.
When you look at him, 23 years old, I mean, charisma, tenfold. I mean, it's amazing what he has. Comes from a very athletic background, very well spoken. This has to be just something that you're just almost want to sit back and see how this all unfolds. This story, right, of Jon Jones. It's amazing to watch him flourish before our eyes.
Yeah, here's the thing. Jon Jones got through a tough test tonight and passed with flying colors. The real challenge starts now. When you become the UFC champion and you have the charisma and the personality and all the things that Jon Jones has, this kid looks like he could be a breakthrough star that appeals to many different people. But this is where the real challenge begins. Every scumbag, dirtball, what I call Klingons, all the Klingons, the barnacles, they're probably trying to glom onto him right now as he's trying to walk to his car and go back to the hotel. Here's where the real challenge begins. And he seems to be a grounded kid, smart guy, has a good family around him and people that, care about him. So hopefully he can get through the nastiness that's going to come at him over the next several months.
A somewhat awkward situation after the fight with him and Rashad staring at each other in the cage. How did you convince Rashad Evans to take this fight?
I didn't have to convince Rashad Evans to take this fight. Rashad has his opinions and beliefs in how he should handle his business, and I have mine. And Rashad and I butt heads here and there. Rashad sometimes comes out and says, oh, he doesn't like me, he's this and that. I like Rashad very much, and Rashad knows that. And, I have a great relationship with him. I consider him a guy that I call a friend. I like his wife, his family, everybody. But I don't agree with the way he does things sometimes. And, I guess I just had to explain it differently to him. Is Jon Jones his friend? Jon Jones is a guy, yeah, he's a guy that he's friendly with, and he likes him, and he thinks he's a good guy. Now, I don't care. When you're a fighter, you have a very small window of opportunity to A, make money, B, win world titles and do amazing things and become as famous as you can possibly be, so that when it is over, you can go on and do other things. If you waste your time and you don't do these things, and when it's over, are your friends, Jon Jones, Greg Jackson, your family, going to pay your bills? Are they going to take it? Your family is your wife, your kids, these things. That's your family. And you have to provide for them. You have to have the house and the this and the that. Jon Jones and all these other guys aren't going to pay Rashad Evans' bills when it's over.
We talked to Rashad after the fight. He wasn't throwing many accolades out towards Jones, and he was kind of reserved. But the one thing he did say was, "I'm done with Greg Jackson." And I asked him if he felt betrayed. He wouldn't answer the question, but it seemed as though there's now some animosity between him and the Jackson camp, and Jones is obviously a part of it. Did he tell you anything about that? Why he feels, this sort of animosity?
Listen, I said this before, and I'll say it again. And I don't care if I like Greg Jackson, super nice guy. I mean, the guy helped apprehend a criminal tonight. And I like Bob Cook from AKA. And there's guys from other camps that I like too, that run the camps. But don't ever forget that this is a business, right? The more good guys Greg Jackson has in his camp, the more money they make. And if you create this atmosphere where, hey, we're all family, we're friends, we don't fight, then nobody's going anywhere. And I think the way that Rashad feels right now is, wasn't I here first? So I'm sure Rashad feels like, that camp is picking him over Rashad.
Let me just get some quick thoughts from you before we wrap this up. Mirko Cro, you think he's done in the UFC after the loss to Brendan Schaub?
Yep. I like Mirko Cro. I have a lot of respect for him. And I was saying tonight, his last couple of fights have been a testament to how good this guy really was when he was in his prime. He's fighting bigger, stronger, faster, younger heavyweights, and he looks pretty damn good doing it at his age and where he is at in his career, and considering the fact that this guy came from K1, where he was a striker. But yeah, I think this is the last time we'll see him in the octagon.
Jim Miller looked very good. Do you think he is ready to fight for a title?
Love that kid, man. He's a pit bull. He comes in, and he said it tonight at the press conference, always accepts fights. If we call him tomorrow, he'd fight again, and he's always in great shape. He keeps improving and getting better. The kid's in a nasty division. The 155-pound division is so nasty. So we'll see what happens.
Nate Marquardt says he's seriously considering moving down to 170. Do you like that?
Wow. That's interesting. He's huge. He's monstrous. If he can make 170, it'd be interesting to see.
Uriah Faber, did he at least prove to you that he should be fighting for the title next?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was spacing out there for a minute. Yeah, Uriah.
You got bored?
Yeah, you bored the shit. I almost fell asleep. No, Uriah looked great tonight. I think that, I don't know how other people felt that watched the fight, but, Eddie didn't have a lot of steam coming to this thing, but people who know this kid, know that this kid's very tough and was there tonight. Eddie came here to win, came here to take out Uriah Faber. Uriah Faber completely changed his mind during the fight. And in that third round, I thought Faber looked incredible.
Are he and Cruz coaching tough 14?
No.
No, they're not, or no, you don't know?
No, they're not.
Who is?
I'll let you know when it's time.
Okay, final question. We saw Dan Henderson sitting in the VIP area. We saw Jason Mayhem Miller. A Strikeforce commercial aired during the pay-per-view. Is this part of the, it was almost shocking to see Henderson there, to be honest, and see Mayhem in the commercial. Anything you could tell us about April 9th? A lot of people are curious to see how that show is going to go down.
Well, Dan and I started texting a couple days ago, going back and forth. Dan and I are always busting each other's balls, and he told me he was going to come tonight. And so I went over and talked to him. I think that the key thing about this, we'll call it a transition, is I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. We own this company now, and there's obviously, so it's going to be run separately. And there was a meeting a couple days ago with Showtime that I hear went very well. I didn't attend, and we'll see how this thing goes. It's all still a work in progress. This deal's a week old, and I don't know.
Will Paul Daly fight in the main event? He said he is starting to have cold feet. Not sure about it.
Paul Daly has a contract, so
All right.
It would be a good idea if he did.
All right. We'll leave it at that. UFC 128 history has been made. Jon Jones is the new UFC light heavyweight champion. Dana, as always, thank you for the time.
Thank you.